Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another great edition of my Grue Rume Show. And for the Grue Rume Show today, we got an awesome, amazing guest, and she stars in this new thriller film called Traitor. And I'm going to talk about Kimberly Sue Murray. And I'm really looking forward to talking to her about the movie. And she did other stuff like V Wars and Shadow Hunters and Woman. And if she has time, I'll love to talk to her about those things as well. I am Rocco Cross. I am the host at Stutters, as you could tell, and I am the host of the Grue Room. And my interview with Kimberly Sue Murray will be coming up very soon. This is my Grue Room, and as always, welcome to my nightmare. Stay tuned. Okay, thank you so much for taking time out of your day and coming on the show. I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, yeah, you're welcome. So, like, the first thing I wanted to ask you is, like, I mean, you got your current film out is like a thriller horror type film, but this isn't like your first time in that world. Like, you've done some horrors, some thrillers, and I wanted to talk to you before we get to this film about the Wars. And
Yeah.
I read that you actually worked like very long shoots for that show, and you were playing a vampire. So working those long shoots, did you actually feel like one?
Oh my God, that's a good question. You know what? Yeah, pretty much. We were yes, I very much. I don't work I'm not a night owl. So when the sun goes down, I start acting very strangely. So yes, I did feel like a vampire. But it's so funny because I've always wanted to play a vampire. It was on my bucket list. And I was a fan of Buffy and True Blood.
Oh my God, yes.
The Twilight Saga. And so when V Wars came around, and I was actually cast as a different character. I'm not sure what happened, but then they switched things up and they offered me Danica. And when I found out that she was a vampire, I was very, very excited. I just want to go around hissing and go like, and like I had teeth in, yeah, that was cool.
Oh my God, that's so awesome. Yeah, I'm a big fan of those shows too. Like I'm a huge fan of Buffy, like Sarah Michelle Gellar. I mean,
oh yeah,
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, but I like the science fiction sort of supernatural world. I like when there's, and it's even better if it's like grounded in reality with a supernatural twist. I love that stuff.
Definitely.
When do you ever get to be a vampire other than like Halloween? You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, it's like the only other time. Like, just put the fangs out and walk around the streets on Halloween night and hiss at people.
I
know. But you were also in another like show along the same lines, the Shadow
Hunter. Yeah. And I also had teeth for Shadowhunter. They were less functional though. I couldn't really talk with those in. But yeah, I played Silly Queen Amara. So that was a fairy queen.
Yeah, that was a very good show too, because I watched it and I mean I was kind of sad when it was over, but like it did have a nice run, and you were a big part of that show. So how was your experience like working on that and with the cast and everything?
It was so wild because I had auditioned for the show quite a bit, and I actually originally auditioned for the Silly Queen. And then they ended up casting Lola Flannery. So I was aware of the show. I knew the character. And so in season 3, when I got this audition, there was a code. I knew it was for Shadowhunters, but there was a code name for the role. All I knew was that she was powerful and it required a British accent. So I sort of went in because in my head, it's like, they already have the Silly Queen. Like, so why, like, yeah. And then I got the part without knowing. My first question to my agent was like, okay, great, but what's the part? And they're like, oh, you don't know what the part is? Like, no, I don't. And they're like, you're playing the Sealy Queen. But I was like, what? And they're like, yeah, it's an older version of the Sealy Queen. I was like, I see. So it's like an older, because they had cast Sarah as a sort of like young adult Sealy Queen. And so I'm like the mature Sealy Queen, because they knew that they were gonna head down a sort of like, sexy relationship with Jonathan Morgenstern. So they couldn't really do that with a 13-year-old. That's when I jumped in. But yeah, I got cast, and like within 15 minutes, I was on my way to a table read. And so it was like a lot to take in. And the show was already such a hit with such a massive fan base.
Yes.
So I got a crash course from the leads of the show, being like, are you ready for the Shadow fam? Are you ready for these fans? Because but it was a fun ride. It was my first time being on a show that had such an established fan base. And they're awesome. Like they really kept that show going. And unfortunately, sometimes shows get canceled and it's out of our control, but they kept the memory of it alive, because there's still fan conventions. So
yeah, the fan base is like is great for that. Like that, I mean, they were still politicianing to keep the show on, and like you said, when you go to like Comic-Cons or horror conventions, like the fan base for that show is like still strong yet.
And it's so great to meet the fans, because then it's like, oh, this is why I'm doing it. This is why, because it's like, as an actor, it can be very, it can be a lonely road.
Yeah.
You're kind of, it's like you and your work, and then you kind of put it out there, and it's out of your hands. And to be able to sort of circle back and revisit projects and roles and meet the fans and see how you've had an impact on them. And it's really special. So it was really nice. I went to Paris last summer.
Oh, nice.
Got to meet a bunch of them, and it was just so great, because it's like we engage with them online, but then to meet them in the flesh is like really cool.
And you also did like a web series, Werewoman.
Yeah,
it has like millions of views. like
millions. That kind
millions. It's not only thousands, it's millions.
And it was millions like 10 years ago. So it was a big deal back then. So it was basically like a pilot for a web series that I had developed and co-written. And it was part of the funding application to provide a proof of concept. So like a trailer. And so we just shot the first episode. And then it was to prove that, the quality that we could produce something, but also that it was appealing. And so we thought for sure we were going to get funding, because within a month we had 1 million views on YouTube. And we got kicked off of YouTube because there was some partial nudity. We got kicked off. And so the millions of views, that's just like in the couple of weeks that we were on YouTube. And then other people had, I guess, saved it and republished it, and those got millions of views. I don't actually know the number, but it went viral. But unfortunately, we were kind of ahead of our time. It was a bit too osé, a little too risky, and we didn't get funding in the end. And we tried getting funding a few times to no avail. And but it's still on the back burner. I still feel like maybe one day it'll happen, because it was so relevant. Like, it's the premise is and it was loosely inspired by my life. When I moved to Toronto, I lived in a commune with a bunch of women, and there was one guy. He was like the matron's son, and I would tease him because I kept saying to him, one day you're gonna wake up with, excuse my language, a pussy. You're going to wake up as a woman, because, him living with us, all of a sudden he got really sensitive and like very compassionate, and like very, the way he dressed, like we were like, you're turning, you're syncing up. And our menstrual cycles synced. All five of us women were on the same cycle, because that happens. Nature works in wonderful ways. And so and then I took a web series class, and we just developed, like, the idea just came to me about a guy who lives with a bunch of girls, and then he syncs up with them. He syncs up with us, and then one day he just turns into a woman. But I really wanted it to be like the old school campy werewolf transformation,
Yes, exactly.
where you get the shot of the moon, the howling, like
Yes.
the weird practical special effects, and then the experience of like what it's like to be in a body that isn't yours, or like that you don't identify with. And we tapped into the trans community, and it was so beautiful, because that was never my intention. For me, I was just doing kind of like a cool supernatural
of course
show. But I was like, in the end, I was like, oh wow, like this is giving a voice to this whole community that hasn't been represented. And so when we tried getting funding the second time, and even the third time, we actually worked closely with a trans writer, because it was really important to us to have someone who could be that voice, because I'm a straight woman, in a woman's body, and that's just my identity. And so it was really important for us to have the right people involved. So who knows, maybe Werewoman will have another life at some point, but who knows?
Yeah, I mean, like, especially now in this era, modern era, like, everything is more out there and more free now, open. So something like that.
I feel like Canada's still a few steps behind.
Oh, okay.
I'm Canadian, so I feel like, like I don't think we Canadians would have a show like Euphoria here. You know what I mean? Like I just don't think I don't think CBC will like green light a project that is very
that is a very steamy show.
That is my cup of tea. I love that stuff, but I just don't think Canada's there yet. I mean, for sure independently, but in terms of like federal funding, that's just the way it is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And like, I wanted to ask you too, like, what goes into voicing, like, you're in a video game, Guardians of the Galaxy, like, what goes into like voicing that, and how you find like the right voice for that character?
Well, so just to clarify, I actually do it's called full performance capture, and the difference is that it was a full body performance. So I would go for the cinematic scenes. We were in a unit with these black Velcro suits with sensors, and then dots on our faces, and then we had a camera and a mic, so they captured all of it. And so what you see is actually my body and my facial expressions and my voice. And then so that's for the cinematic scenes, and then whatever is like in game, so like from when the characters are traveling, that's called banter. And so that was strictly voice, because the characters were just walking, right? So we did a lot of voice stuff. And then when the characters are fighting, those are called barks, because you literally have to bark them out. So the lines it's like high, and everything's cranked up to like 200%, and you're yelling. So there's a huge voice aspect, but it's also full body performance. And so when I auditioned for it, I just auditioned the way I would a film and TV for a film and TV role. So I shot, like a medium close up, and then I did a wider to show my physicality.
Okay.
And it was amazing. So it's like, we would shoot it the way I mean, it's very different than film and TV. It's kind of like if theater and film had a baby.
Nice.
you have a bit more freedom in terms of your body,
Hmm.
but you still have to hit those emotional beats. And so yeah, we were in a studio. We shot a week every month, a week to 2 weeks every month for 3+ years.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's,
yeah.
that's a
It was a
while.
lot, but it was like the most rewarding and the most fun I've ever had on a
Oh,
project because, well, first of all, Guardians, iconic characters,
oh
and
yeah,
the
of course.
humor, so funny, so funny. Like those characters, like, and the writing was so good. So we had like the best time. But then because it's a video game and you get to be with those characters for 12 hours, we
Yeah.
really got to go deep in their backstory. So each character
Okay.
had like a chapter or a portion where it's like we would go there with them. So it had a lot of heart for a video game, a
Yeah,
lot of heart,
definitely.
and a lot of laughs. Yeah, it was a good time.
Wow. Okay. And now you have a new film out, thriller film. And how did you get to be part of this and actually be the lead?
Oh man, I actually like I my God, I hadn't worked a lot that year, like at all. I think I went 11 months without working. I had sort of cut my hair short. I was in a rebranding phase, and it's hard when you rebrand because casting doesn't quite know what to do with you. And then my friend and producer Michael James Regan sent me the script, and he was like, I think you would be great in this. And I read it, and my whole body was like, yes, 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 this is what I want, this is what I've been making room for in my life. And so I feel like I had to like fight for it. And I met with Corey, our director, our writer, director, editor, composer.
Oh my God.
Like he did everything. He's a
Wow.
genius. I met with him and we hit it off, and I had a lot of ideas for the character. But he was like, I've seen your work and I've seen your resume and your demo reel, but I haven't seen you do anything like this. And so
Okay.
I felt like he was a little hesitant. So I went home and I went through all of my old self-tape auditions, and I like basically mapped out Trader's emotional arc and
Oh.
key moments. And then I mapped out, I edited like 10 minutes of self-tape auditions of where I show like rage and sexuality and manipulation and persuasion and something that's more physical, and so that I could, or like different accents, so that I could show Corey that I could do it, because so many actors can do so much more than what they've done in the past, but we
Exactly.
never get to showcase that. And so so I sent him 10 minutes of just random scenes that I had shot, and he was like, yeah, the rules is yours. So
Oh my
actors,
God.
anyone listening, keep your tapes, they come in handy.
Yes. Yes,
Just save
exactly.
them on a hard drive.
So, so for anyone who doesn't know about the film, can you tell us a little bit about it? And
Yeah, so it is a single room, single actor feature film, independent. It's Canadian, about a manipulative sociopath played by me, who is very, very ambitious and resourceful. And we know very little about her, but basically, she decides to take on the stock market. And she wages a war against a pharmaceutical company. And her goal is to come to just be the top dog. And she's willing to do everything and anything to get there. And she is a scammer. She's a fraudster. She is not good or bad. She walks that line. And it's a hell of a ride. A reviewer, they described it as an assault to your brain. Like the movie is an assault to your brain. I was like, yeah, no, it is. It is. It's fast moving. It's it's a hell of a ride. And you don't even need to know anything about the stock market. Like it's not really
oh,
what it's
okay.
about. It's a success story. It's about a woman who is desperate to win.
Yeah, exactly. And like when you're first reading the script, and like you were saying, when you know it's solely based on you, like you're the lead, you're basically like the only person.
Yeah.
And is that scary? Because like the pressure is definitely on you to knock it out of the park.
I mean, yes and no. Yes, because I'm the only one on screen, but also like for me, fear and excitement are kind of interchangeable.
Okay.
Oftentimes, I feel like physically it's the same sensation. Either you feel the butterflies or you feel what
Yeah.
I just call them moths, where it's like, but it's still the same feeling. It's the adrenaline. It's the, oh, it's titillating. It's so, there was a lot of fear going into it, but pressure, no, because we were so focused on making the film. And when you're making an indie Canadian film, you're not expecting anyone to see it.
Oh, okay.
We weren't doing it for anyone. Like we knew that we may or may not go to festivals. We most definitely will not have a theatrical release. So that I didn't feel the pressure. I wanted to do a good job because it's like once something's on film, like it's out there.
Yeah,
But I didn't
exactly.
feel the pressure of like, will the broad audience, the international audience like it? Like it's not, I don't think Canadians make movie to like get rich and famous. Do you know what I mean? I'm glad that, XYZ Films acquired it, and I'm glad
Yeah.
that it's out for people to rent. But that's not why Canadians make films.
Oh, okay.
That's just the truth.
See, I learned something new. Like I'm so used to American film and filmmakers and actors. Now I learned something new about Canada.
Yeah, we work for the hell of, for the sake of working. Like we're not rich, we're not famous. We just like to work. But it was
All right.
cathartic. I got to do things I'd never done before, but I knew I was capable of them. I just never was given the opportunity. And so I owe it to Corey to have written such an incredible female driven movie that has nothing to do with men. It's
Yeah.
about power, it's about money, and it's about winning, which is refreshing for a, a female actor. Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. And 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 like for like this kind of story, like how do you get in like her like head space? I mean, because she's basically in like this dark basement and drug use and scamming, and like how do you get like your mind and
Oh,
body ready to play a character like that?
yeah. Well, I had thankfully, I had a month to prepare, which
Okay.
was good. I knew that I needed help with the dialect, so I hired a dialect coach that I worked with, Ray Ellen Bodie, who I adore. And so her and I worked on the dialects, but then we did a lot of emotional prep work. So we built, because nothing about Trader. I call her Trader because she does not have a name.
Well, yeah, exactly.
You know nothing about her past, but I needed to be able to justify her actions. And so I had to create a life for her. And thank God I did, because on the day there's no time to like think. It was just do. And because I had done my homework with Ray Ellen, everything just bubbled up to the surface. So that's the kind of like sort of script work I did, and emotional preparation. And then in terms of physically getting ready, it was really important for me to be as raw as I could be. I suffer with acne rosacea. It's like my biggest insecurity. And at the time, my skin was struggling quite a bit, because it's tied into like my gut health and stress and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So, and Corey and I had a good chat about like this character would not wear any makeup. This character doesn't really care about her hygiene or the way she looks. She's the whole thing is in a basement.
Well, yeah,
She hides
exactly.
behind a phone or behind a screen. So,
Mhm.
she eats very poorly, and she's constantly drinking, these uh, energy drinks and snorting wasabi. She doesn't care about her, and even when we see her working out a lot, but I think it's because she's like addicted to this high.
Yeah,
She needs to operate on a level. She needs to be in the flow for her to get these ideas. So she's not working out to be fit. She's working out to like tap into her like higher self. So I stopped shaving. I stopped grooming.
okay,
I didn't shower. I didn't wear any makeup. I looked terrifying. I looked tired. I looked so messed up. But that was the whole point, And I
yeah,
also, as a woman, it's like there's so much pressure to look a certain way,
yeah, of course.
on social media or in films, and women look strangely young and strangely perfect. And so this was a perfect opportunity to sort of bring it back to basics and like keep it raw and real, because this character, that's what the character required. So I did not take care of myself. But yeah, and then on the day, it's just a matter of like, committing and trusting your director and just being there and sitting in it. And, whether it was like discomfort or anxiety or grossness, I just had to like surrender and just be in that. I
Wow, you
remember actually, um, after the first day, Corey was like, "Do you want to watch dailies? Do you want to watch playback?" And
yeah.
I made the mistake of watching,
Uh,
and I was so shocked by myself. I was so shocked with myself. Like I had never seen myself like that on camera. I went home and just cried.
oh
I just
no.
cried and cried because I had done so many rom-coms where,
Yeah.
the perfect hair and the
Oh yeah,
perfect
of course.
outfit, the perfect skin, the smile, the makeup,
Hmm.
your I don't know, women like that don't exist. So yeah, after that, I told Corey, I was like, I'm just gonna focus on the work. I can't get in the way of myself because I'm
Hmm.
not going to be able to serve this character. So after that, I stayed away from the monitor. I mean, I watched like a few little things like yeah, there were a few like action sequences that I
Hmm.
watched back only because I wanted to make sure that physically, like the dance sequence and all the aggression stuff was reading. But yeah, I try to stay away from the monitor.
All right. I mean, there's like a lot of people that are like that though. When they're filming, they don't want to watch themselves back because they feel like they didn't. If they see their performance, they think they could do better when it was like great. But then, like in actor's mind, sometimes it could be better than what's out
Oh
there.
yeah. And also for me, I can only speak for myself, but for me, it's just I care so much more about the process, like being
Mm,
on set and how it feels, than I do the product.
yeah.
So I don't want the product to taint my experience of it, if that makes sense.
Oh
So
yeah, definitely. Yeah, yeah, it
I
does.
have no issues with being in, spending all year on set, working my butt off. And I can go without watching the stuff. Like I don't it's I act because I love the experience of acting, not so
Exactly.
much. Yeah. And also like I'm deeply insecure, as much as everyone else is. So
Oh yeah.
I don't like gush at watching myself back. Like and if I do watch myself back, it's in order to be better next time.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So did you learn anything? I mean, I know the film wasn't you didn't have to know a lot about stocks, but did by being on set, like, did you learn anything about like the stock market?
Oh my God. It's so funny because someone asked me to describe like that aspect of the film, and I started thinking that I could, and then midway through I just gave up because it's like I no, no. it's also not an interest of mine. So it's like it
Yeah.
went in and out. I think
Yeah.
like Corey gave me a crash course. Like I knew the basics and I knew, and like, thank God that visually he gave, like visually, if she's winning, it's green. If she's losing, it's red. So I heavily relied on the color, like the light cues. And I was always turning to Corey, like, when she's on the floor and she's doing the sort of the trial and error, every day trading. And there's like a montage of her winning and losing and winning and losing. And I kept turning to Corey and be like, okay, we good? Not good? Thumbs up, thumbs down? Or are we, no, okay, she's winning. Okay, but is she winning like a lot on a scale of 1 to 10? Is she winning a lot? Or like, is she a 3 at 10? Like, yeah. So he was like my North Star.
Nice. Yeah, I know nothing about that. Like the only thing I basically know is the green and the red. That's it.
That's
Like
all you need
I
to
know
know. And the
nothing
thing is,
about
I don't
that.
want people to like avoid the film because they think, well, I'm not into, stock market. It really isn't. It's the premise, but not the experience. Like you kind of, trader is like an experience. It's not about learning how to day trade.
That's true. And is there a scene that you had the most fun doing?
Yeah. I mean, I had a lot of fun with the phone sex scene with Bob the Broker, because Sean Benson, who plays Bob the Broker, is a good friend of mine.
Oh, okay.
And he just cracks me. So we had all the voice actors actually on set.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to, be together and run the lines and talk about the scene. And then they were being recorded upstairs. We shot in a barbershop. So they were upstairs in the barbershop with a sound recordist. So they were all mic'd up and everything was recorded live. And then we had a speaker downstairs in the basement for me to hear. So everything was live. They could hear me and I could hear them. Because there was no way we were gonna just have me on the phone, because phone acting is hard. And then you don't get to have like authentic reactions, So that was awesome to have them there on the day. And I felt supported. I didn't feel so alone. But yeah, that phone sex scene is just cracks me up. It was so funny. And what else? I really liked all the when she's bad tripping, she's having that sort of like, oh my God, out of body experience in a way. Yeah. That was a lot of fun. I got to work with my bestie. I have many besties. One of my besties, Camille Stops. Camille Stops. She's an actress, but her background is in dance, and she helped choreograph the dance sequence, the sort of contemporary interpretive dance sequence. So that it was fun working with her on that.
Oh, sweet.
But every scene was fun.
Well, of course.
Yeah. And the scenes where I had to do like curl ups, I had like
to work it out.
If anyone knows anything about weights, like that was like 5 pounds, because we had to do so many takes. And at first I was like, I'll go for like the big one. I'm like, oh, I can't. So yeah, I was like, someone's gonna notice that it was only 5 pounds, but nothing yet.
Okay. And was there any like funny or cool stories from the set when you were doing it?
Oof. Funny. I'm sure there were plenty of funny stories. It's so crazy. It's like you promote a film like a year and a half to 2 years after it's been made.
Yeah, and you're trying to think back.
And you're like trying to think, it's like any funny stories. Any funny stories? I can't think of anything. Sorry. It'll come back to me.
No problem. Next. And when you're not doing roles and filming, like what do you like doing during your free time?
About a year ago, my other bestie and I, Michaela Lily Davies, she's an actor and an amazing acting coach. So her and I teamed up, and we developed a self-tape masterclass for
Oh,
actors in Toronto to sort of empower them to like get back in touch with their artistry and learn to love the craft of auditioning again. Because, before COVID, it was in-person auditions. And
well, yeah,
since everything's either a Zoom audition, which is brutal, brutal, or self-tape. And so now all of a sudden actors have to like prep their self-tape and then shoot their tape. They need to have gear and lighting, and they need to have someone help with lines, and they have
yeah.
to learn to edit. And they're all of a sudden actors are in charge of everything. And it's one, so unfair because we're not being paid to audition. And two,
Hmm.
it takes so much time. And I know a lot of actors during COVID who were like, I can't maintain this. I can't sustain this, like doing the work, but also like, I don't know when to stop. A 2 scene audition will take me 4 hours
Oh,
because
wow.
because you kind of unravel. You're just at home and you don't know when to stop.
Yeah,
Whereas before you would show up, you would wait for 5 minutes, go in, do your audition, and then leave. That was it.
yeah, yeah,
But now
exactly.
all of a sudden you get to watch back and do it again and again and again. And it's hard to stop. So with our master
Because you want
class,
it to be perfect.
oh yeah, and perfection is boring and
Yeah.
impossible to reach. So with our workshop, so it's an intensive weekend once a month. And we basically teach actors our method. We've developed a method that is to work quickly and efficiently to make the best possible, like we call them the bold choices, in order to stand out and do auditions and not waste too much time on an audition. So we've been doing that for a year, and we just launched our first 6-week course, which
Oh,
we
wow.
sold out. So yeah, I like to give back that way.
Yeah.
I feel very lucky to get to work, and so when I'm not working, I want to give back. And it's been so rewarding and fulfilling, and to be working with my bestie and to be sharing my experience and helping actors be a better version of themselves. And yeah, we've had some actors like sign with their first agent or book their
Oh,
first
wow.
job or join the union, and so that
Okay.
feels really good. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And as you could tell, I'm a big horror fan. Like, are there
Yes,
any
I see
horror
Chucky.
movies?
Chucky is smiling at me, and that's terrifying. Okay, Chucky, I mean that's just terrifying.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna focus on the Ninja Turtles. They look friendly.
Okay, you got that works. Are there are there any horror films that you like to watch?
Oh yeah. Okay, so I forget his name, but the creator of horror what's it called? Brain fart. Uh Horror Hill House. What is that? The series. My God, why am I blanking?
Oh, wait.
The
Oh my
horror.
God.
I would check up. Wait, if
What's it?
I
Mike Flanagan? Mike Flanagan? No, not Mike
oh
Flanagan.
yeah,
Mike.
yeah, yeah. The Haunting of Hill House.
Yeah.
So he did I think he did 2 series, and then he did Midnight Mass, which
Yes,
was
I love that
freaking
series.
amazing.
That. Oh
So
my God, wasn't that
if
good?
he happens, I'm just gonna put it out there, okay? Whatever your name is, filmmaker, this is classic Kim. I'm so bad with names. But I'm gonna manifest for myself. I would love to work with him
Yeah.
because Midnight Mass was terrifying.
So good. So good.
So good. But I also love like Hereditary and Midsummer and all of those horror films. I like to be scared.
Okay.
And I'm the person that will scream very loudly, and then everyone jumps, and then we all have a good laugh. Yeah. I'm actually starting a horror film on Monday.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah, it's
God, that's
my
awesome.
first like true horror since The Scare House, and that was 10 years ago.
I love that movie. Yes.
Yeah. So it's actually 10 years this month that we shot The Scare House.
Wow.
Time flies. So
I
yeah,
know,
and
right?
I've done some like Lifetime thrillers, but in terms of like true horror with like the gore and the scares, yeah, starting on Monday, so it should be fun.
Oh, that's so cool. So do you ever do like during the Halloween season, because that's coming up like really soon? Like, do you ever do like any of the haunted houses and the hay
Yes,
rides and all? Oh,
yes.
okay, all right.
So in Toronto, there's a beautiful, like, I'm gonna call it a castle. I think it's a castle. Um, that turns their grounds, and then inside they have like these like downstairs they have these old uh corridors. Anyway, they turn that into like a haunted house.
Oh my
Uh
God,
and
yes.
I love it. I don't dress up because I'm lazy, but I go and I always bring my partner because he's a wuss and I love to scare him. And like I see the guy coming at me, but it doesn't matter. I'm still scared. And my goal is to scare him. Yeah. I love haunted houses. Remember doing the Universal Studios had I'm not sure if they still have it.
Yeah, that
The Walking
Halloween
Dead.
Horror Nights.
They have like a Walking Dead haunted house with like
Hmm.
zombies grabbing you.
Hmm.
I love it. I love the release. You know, there's like the anticipation,
Oh yeah.
and then there's the fear, and then the release.
Yes. Yes.
I'm addicted to the release. And then I laugh because it's so, I like that release, just tickles me. So I can't wait. So I'm gonna go again this year.
Oh yeah, that like I look forward to that time of the year every
Yeah.
single year. I love it so much because I like from mid September to Halloween, like every Friday and Saturday, I'm doing different haunts and different hay
Oh,
rides,
love
and
it.
oh my
It's
God,
a
I love it
beautiful.
so
It's
much.
Well, I love that time of year for a few reasons. First of all, fall colors are amazing, depending
Oh
where you are in
yeah.
the world. In Canada, we have 4 seasons, so fall is just beautiful. Um, Also, my birthday is November 2nd. It's so close to Halloween,
Oh,
so
that's
I get a
awesome.
double treat.
Yeah.
Uh, and Halloween, like I get my one of my like favorite movies, I call seasonal movie, is Hocus Pocus.
Oh my God,
It just
yes,
gets
yes.
me in the Halloween vibe. I watch it every year. I even watched the sequel. And
That was really good.
I wasn't sure if I was gonna like it, but I actually really did. And so I think they're making another one. I'm all
Yeah.
for it. I love the Sanderson sisters. They're wild.
Oh my God, yes. Like
Yeah.
when I heard after all these years they were coming out with a part two, like I was like, oh my God, are you
I'm
serious?
so down. But I have to say I have a soft spot for the original.
Yeah, well, yeah,
It's
of
like, the
course, of
90s.
course.
I'm a 90s baby, so those movies just feel very nostalgic.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so excited. Like the Halloween season's coming up. It's the best.
Yeah. But it creeps up on you because every year I'm like, I'm gonna dress up this year. I'm gonna dress up, and I like to make my own costumes, but
Hmm.
it always creeps up on me,
I
and it's like,
know.
what? Halloween's tomorrow?
I know,
What?
I know. That's
Gotta
how
go
I
buy
feel too. Yeah, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna order this outfit. I'm gonna order this outfit. Then wait, next week is Halloween. Oh my, I have to go to the Halloween store now and
Yeah,
find it.
and then you go to the Halloween store and everything's been bought, and you're left with like a Darth Vader mask, but like no cape. You can't do that. Oh, yeah.
I
You know
know,
what? I
that's so
should order
true.
my Halloween costume like today. Oh man. I can't wait to have kids so I can dress up with them.
Right? Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
And then you have to test when they go trick or treating. Like you have to put your hand in the bag and test the treats for them.
Oh yeah. Yeah. God. I think about the amount of sugar I had as a child. I feel like my Halloween candy lasted me a year.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
because we would go with these pillowcases, and we'd fill up the pillowcases, and we were 3 kids, and then we would go back home, empty out, and then barter with each other. Yeah, because
Nice.
we had a personal phase, but I never remember my mom checking the candy. I think that's more of maybe a city thing. I'm from a
Okay, all
small
right.
town. I'm from the country. I'm from the bush. Uh, literally a bush. Uh, yeah.
And what about like songs? Like, what kind of music is on your playlist?
Whatever my partner listens to. Okay, no, listen. I am a TLC fan.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
So and any of their older music, I will listen to. Alanis Morissette, Jag a Little Pill. I will listen. Again,
Yes.
it's nostalgic for me. I just want to like go back to being a child. But my partner has amazing taste in music. And
Okay.
so the music I listen to are my favorite songs that he plays. So if we're in the car and he's got a new jam going, I'm like, ooh, what's that? So then I have like a Spotify playlist, and it's all of his music that I've managed to curate for myself. Yeah.
Yeah. So, what would be your go-to karaoke song if you were at a bar? Like
Torn. Torn by Natalie Imbruglia.
Yeah, I know who it is. I forgot how
Or
to say her
or
last name.
Waterfalls. Is it Waterfall or Waterfalls? Don't go chasing waterfalls
Of
by
course, that's such a
TLC.
classic.
Yeah, yeah. But again, I have a bad memory. So when I go to karaoke, it's like my brain it's just blackness. And I can't think of a song. And I can't even look through those binders because I don't know names of artists.
Yeah.
I don't know I don't like, I'll recognize a song, but I won't know the name of the song or the
Mm.
artist. So karaoke is stressful. So I now have a list on my phone of karaoke songs.
Oh, okay.
Because otherwise it's not fun. So I'm
Yeah,
like, oh,
exactly.
what's that song from that person? Like
You know that song with that
that
beat?
song is really good. I can't remember how it goes. It's so good.
Yeah, it's so good.
But like
With
No
that
Doubt,
certain beat and
any No Doubt song for
yeah.
karaoke is fun. I don't know. Yeah, I think Torn is like my go-to
Ah,
for
that's
sure.
such a great song. Yeah,
It's such a great song. Yeah.
I mean, I think that was like her only hit too. Like, I don't remember her after that song.
I mean, it's a pretty good song, so I think it's
It's
all
a
right.
good song. Yeah.
Like if I'm gonna be a one-hit wonder, I want it to be that song.
Yeah, right.
So, but I also remember like she had like the short brown hair, and I thought she was
Yeah.
so beautiful and different.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely, definitely.
And
Yeah,
I'm trying to think of
yeah,
other
it's
ones.
such a great song.
It's
And
such, or
and
like Hotel California, I like to sing.
yeah, okay, that's another
Yeah.
good one. Nice.
Yeah.
So
That's it. That's all I can remember right now.
so
You're putting me on the spot.
which your drink of choice if you're like if you're doing like at a bar or whatever?
Oh, damn. Okay. So I was a white wine, a dry white,
Okay.
but I'm a month and 5 days sober.
Can
So
congrats on that.
thank you. And so my drink of choice right now is anything with bubbles. So I love my soda stream, and I love
Okay.
flavored sparkling water. If you dress them up real nice and they come in a wine glass, I feel like I'm drinking.
Well, yeah,
So
exactly.
yeah, I don't I actually, I thought it'd be harder to quit drinking, but it's been fine.
Ah,
As
awesome.
long
Awesome.
as it's a fizzy drink, fuzzy,
Fizzy drink. Yeah.
a fizzy drink. Oh, a fuzzy drink. Yeah.
I mean, I like those things too, but with the salt soda seltzer, and when you said the bubbles, the first
Yeah.
thing I thought of was the bubble tea. Did you ever have that? Like,
Bubble tea?
yeah, it's like a
Oh,
Asian
yes. I actually
Chinese
have
thing.
had bubble tea.
Yeah,
And unfortunately, I like the taste of bubble tea, but the texture of the bubbles and the bubble tea just
yeah.
kind of triggers my gag reflex. There's just
Yeah.
something about the texture. It's like the gooey. And then
Yeah,
if
yeah,
you like
yeah,
slurp
exactly.
through the straw, you can get one and it kind of hits you in the face. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know about bubble tea. I don't know.
Yeah.
What is that? What is the bubble in
You
the
know,
bubble tea?
I don't even know. Like I had it a couple times and I'm like, I can't make out what this is. It's slimy, but it's
Like,
sugary
I
too.
need to know, is it a fruit or
I
is it
think it
man-made?
is. I don't know. Like that's a good question.
Oh, look at us. I have to Google this.
Are you more of like a like beach kind of person or like a hiking and camping kind of person?
Uh, so I love any water. I love
Okay.
lakes, I love rivers, I love the ocean. I grew up by an ocean. So I'm like a fish in water. But I also love mountains. So wherever I go, I need to find a trek. I did the West Coast Trail in BC. I did Machu Picchu in Peru.
Wow.
It's on my bucket list to do Kilimanjaro with my sister. So I
Okay.
love long, hard treks.
Oh wow.
I like camping, but I find that as I get older, I'm more high maintenance, where I
Hmm.
have like my skincare and my water filter, and like I like my fancy pillow and like my silk pillowcase. Do you know what? I'm a bit,
Yeah.
you know, and camping is like, meh.
I
but
know. I
I will
know.
say, give me like a camper van and I'm good.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
like last winter we did my partner and I did we went around the Grand Canyon. We
Oh
did
sweet.
we did Zion National
Hmm.
Park. We
Hmm.
went to I'm blanking on all the places now. Anyway, we went around and it was amazing. Like I love
Nice,
short
nice.
hikes. Like we hiked from the South Rim all the way down to the Colorado River and back in one day.
Oh my
Um,
God.
in
Wow.
the winter, it was nuts. They had snow. They had like 3 feet of snow. We were not. We were like, we thought like such a Canadian thing. It's like we're going to Grand Canyon. Like
Yeah,
we're
yeah,
gonna bring
yeah.
all of our summer clothes, and then we get there, and we had to buy my partner boots because they had 3 feet of snow.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy. But yeah, so I do like camping. It just needs to be more like glamping.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
I need like a proper mattress and like I cannot get rained on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
All the mud and all that stuff. Yeah,
Like I don't mind mud like when I'm in it, but I need to get out of it at the end of the day. I need to like,
exactly.
yeah. But the West Coast Trail is for any Canadian or American really listening. The West Coast Trail is on Vancouver Island. Yeah. And we did 5 days,
Okay.
and it is along the Pacific, and it's beautiful. You don't go high in altitude. It's like it's pretty even, but you tent along the way, and it's just beautiful, just beautiful.
Oh
Yeah,
man,
highly recommend it.
I definitely want to try that.
Yeah,
That sounds amazing.
but you need to kind of like to walk and
Well,
carry
yeah, yeah.
heavy things on your back.
You know, you have
Yeah.
to have the cooler of water and
There's a lot of water.
snacks and
Lots of snacks, a lot of dehydrated foods.
yeah, definitely. And lastly is where can fans follow you at?
I am exclusively on Instagram. I at K Sue Murray. Yeah, that's where I post about what I'm up to, my work, and sometimes I post about my renovation projects because I like to renovate places, homes, and I'll post about my dog, and I'll post about funny memes because I like funny memes. I swear I spend most of my time looking for memes, and I have like 3 friends that I send them to.
Okay.
Yeah. You're not in my close circle if I'm not sending you at least 10 memes a day.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah, that's how
So
you
now
know.
your friends know.
Now my friends know it's like, oh yeah. I guess we're not that close.
Yeah, exactly. Well, well, thank you so much. Like it was so much fun
This
meeting you.
is so
And
fun.
yes, I
I
really
love
had
your
a
laugh. I love
fun
your laugh.
time. Like this has been amazing. Like I
Great.
had so much fun talking to you. Thank you for
Thank
that.
you so much.
Well, definitely have the great rest of the day and
You
great
too.
weekend.
Where are you located?
Philadelphia.
Philly. All right. Cool,
Yep.
cool, cool. Well, enjoy your
Philly
day. Thank you
boy.
so much for having me.
Yeah, definitely.
Bye.
Bye.